by default, the default access modifier is provided by the compiler. So there is no keyword like default. Okay. So here we have only 4 access modifiers. Now, already explained this table in the last class. First we will revise once. After that we will write one program on each access modifier. With those programs you can understand more clearly about these 4 access modifiers. In the exam the question may be like this. Explain the access modifiers in Java. Means you have to you have to prepare first table like this. You have to write this table with these 4 access modifiers, and what are the rows? Last class I explained. This is first one is within the same class, and the second and third are within the same package. So within the same package, again we have subclasses and non-subclasses. That's why again here we have to take 2 concepts with respect to the same package. That is subclasses of the same package and non-subclasses of the same package. Subclasses of the same package means we need to use inheritance. Okay. Non-subclasses of the same package means no need to use inheritance. Only we can take independent classes. Already you know inheritance in depth. So here first one is only within the same class. Second and third are subclasses and non-subclasses of the same package. Okay. Next, fourth and fifth are already explained how to write or how do we import one package into another package using import keyword. Okay. So by writing any number of import statements, we can import the classes and interfaces of some packages into our package. That is nothing but other package. So here fourth and fifth are subclasses and non-subclasses of other package. So that's like that. Here we have only 4 concepts. Again, I am repeating the 4 concepts. First one is within the same class. Second one is subclasses and non-subclasses of the same package. Here second and third are for subclasses and non-subclasses of the same package. Fourth and fifth are for subclasses and non-subclasses of other package. Okay, we have to consider 5 cases. So with respect to these 5 cases, we will explain the 4 access modifiers. That's why rows I have taken these 5 cases, and columns I have taken the access modifiers. Next, now I will take one by one. First one is private access modifier. So what is the rule? What is the rule for private access modifier? If you see this column, here we have only one S. What does it mean? See, private members of a class, already explained. Members means it can be variables or methods. Members of a class is nothing but variables and methods of that class. Inside a class, we can write only variables and methods. Okay, variables and methods together can be called as members of the class. That's why whenever I talk members, okay, please understand that it is variables and methods. So variables and methods together is called members. Okay. Now I will talk about variables and methods. Okay. Now here we will see first private. So private members of a class can be used only within the same class. Or again, I am repeating the same statement. Private members of a class can be accessed within the same class. That's why here only one S. Next, the other way is private members of a class cannot be accessed outside the class. So outside the class means within the same package also we can't use, and in the other package also we can't use. That's why private access modifier is having very less scope when compared to the other 3 access modifiers. Okay. Now again I am repeating the same statement. If you understand these statements, then programs are very easy. You can write on your own any number of programs using these 4 access modifiers. You see, I am repeating once again. about this private access modifiers. So based on this column, I am explaining this one. Okay. Now, private members. Members means variables and methods. So private members of a class can be accessed within the same class. Outside the class, they cannot be accessed. Okay, that is about private. Next, coming to the default access modifiers. So how many SS are there? Here we have 3 SS. No. So with these 3 SS, I will give you one statement on default access modifier. See, default members of a class can be accessed within the same class and also by the subclasses and non-subclasses of the same package. Okay, 3 SS, no? So take always, this is separate. This is within the class. These two are within the same package. So again, I am repeating the same statement about default access modifier. So default members of a class can be accessed within the same class and also within the same package by the subclasses and non-subclasses of that package. Okay, so default members of a class can be accessed within the same class and also within the same package. Within the same package means they can be accessed either by the subclasses of the same package or non-subclasses of the same package also. That's why you remember this statement. Default members of a class can be accessed within the same class and within the same package. Within the same package. But cannot be accessed in other package. That's why here we have 2 no's. Okay, default members of a class cannot be accessed outside that package. Only within the same package they can be accessed. Outside the package they cannot be accessed. So with respect to private, you have to remember class. Only this is the scope within the same class. The scope of the private members of a class is within the same class. Okay, but the scope of the default members of a class is within the same package. Within the same package. That's why within the same class or within the same package. So you can simply say within the same package. This is private members of a class can be accessed only within the same class, whereas default members of a class can be accessed within the same package. Outside the package, they are not visible. Here, outside the class, they are not visible. That is the difference between private and default. Here we should remember class. Here we should remember package. Already we know package concept. No? Next, coming to protected. Okay. Now protected members of a class can be accessed within the same package. Means within the same class and within the same package by both subclasses and non-subclasses of the same package. And also we have to remember this one more S is there here when compared to this. So what is this S? This S is corresponding to subclasses of other package. So here how to say this one? Protected members of a class can be accessed within the same package and also by the subclasses of the other package. Okay. Again, I am repeating the same statement. Protected members of a class can be accessed within the same package and also by the subclasses of the other package. This is one more important point we have to remember for protected access modifier. Next, who cannot access? Protected members of a class cannot be accessed by the non-subclasses of other package. Okay. Next, coming to the public access modifier. Public members of a class can be accessed by or within the same package and also other packages. Means public is having more scope when compared to the remaining 3 access modifier. We can say like this. Private access modifier is having very less scope when compared to the remaining 3 access modifiers, and public access modifier is having highest scope okay, or more scope when compared to the remaining 3 access modifiers. See, public members of a class can be accessed by anybody. Means within the same package we can access public members of a class, or outside the package, that is inside other package also public members of a class can be accessed. So these are this table. If you understand this table, writing the programs is very easy. Again, I am repeating the four statements once again about the 4 access modifiers. First statement is, I will explain only scope. Okay. Now private members of a class can be accessed within the same class. Okay. Next, default members of a class can be accessed within the same package. Within the same package. Next, protected members of a class can be accessed within the same package and also by the subclasses of other package. Next, public members of a class can be accessed within the same package and also outside the package. Okay, this is outside the package. So public members of a class can be accessed within the same package and also outside the package. So these are the 4 rules we should remember about these 4 access modifiers. Okay, once you understand these 4 rules about these 4 access modifiers, writing programs is very easy. You can understand very easily. And now we will write 4 programs. First program is we use private access modifier, and I will explain in depth about private access modifier. Okay, already explained, for classes we can take only 2 access modifiers, default and public. So what is the difference? For interfaces also we can take only 2 access modifiers. So the statement is like this: for variables and methods we can use all the 4 access modifiers, whereas for classes and interfaces we can use only 2 access modifiers. So what are the 2 access modifiers which can be used for classes and interfaces? Answer is default and public. These are the only 2 access modifiers which can be used for classes and interfaces. Whereas for variables and methods, we can use all the 4 access modifiers. Okay. Now we can write default classes or public classes, like that, default interfaces or public interfaces. Okay. Now what is the difference between default classes and public classes is, understand carefully. So default classes can be accessed only within the same package. So outside the package, default classes cannot be accessed. This is very important rule about default class. Okay. Next, what about public classes? Public classes can be accessed within the same package and also outside the package. Okay. Again, I am repeating 2 statements about default classes and public classes. Default classes can be accessed only within the same package. Okay. And outside the package, default classes cannot be accessed. Okay. Next, whereas public classes can be accessed within the same package and also outside the package. So what is the difference between these 2 types of classes? Default classes can be accessed only within the same package. Outside the package, default classes cannot be accessed. Okay. Next, public means within the same package and outside the package also public classes can be accessed. So these are the 2 important rules about default classes and public classes. So once you understand these rules, okay, we can start writing the programs. First I will explain I will use variables and methods, and I will explain the scope of these variables and methods for all the 4 access modifiers. Okay. Yeah, variables and methods are nothing but members of a class. Inside one class, I will take variables and methods, and I will use the access modifiers for these 4 variables and methods of a class. Okay. Now first program. Now I want to write a program using private access modifier. How do we write? This program is program on private access modifier. So first, remember the rule. What is the rule for private access modifier? If you understand this rule, program is very, very easy only. So try to remember the rule for each modifier. So first I will again repeating the same statement, okay, regarding private access modifier. So that is private members of a class. Private members of a class can be accessed only within the same class. Outside the class, they are not visible. Means they cannot be accessed outside the class. Now we will see one program on this. So here we have private access modifier within the same class. So understand carefully. Here I have class student. Inside this I am taking two variables and one method. So what are my two variables? Roll number and marks. And what is my method? Display is the method. So for these two variables and this method, I am taking the access modifier as private. See again, here these are the members of the class. What are the members of the class? Members of the class are nothing but variables and methods. So here two variables I am taking inside student class. They are roll number and marks, and one method I am taking display, that is. So for these three members, that is two variables and one method, I am using the access modifier as private. What does it mean? So this is my student class. This is the closing brace of student class. So this is opening brace. This is the body of the student class. Inside this class, I have taken two private variables, that is, they are roll number and marks, and one private method display. Because I want to explain, I want to write a program using private access modifier, which is used for variables and methods. That's why I have taken one class. Inside that I have taken two private variables, they are roll number and marks, and I have taken one private method, that is display. Now I will explain what is the scope of these private variables roll number and marks and private method display. Already we know one rule now regarding private members. So private members of a class can be accessed only within the same class. Outside the class, they are not visible. If you understand that one, so these private members, that is roll number, marks and display, can be accessed only within the same class. That is, only inside the student class I can access them. Outside the class, they are not visible, means they cannot be accessed. Okay, you remember this rule. So only within the same class we can access private members of this class. So here if you see display method, inside the display method I am using roll number and marks, because roll number and marks are declared with private access modifier. Even then, because it is display method is there within the same class now. So roll number and marks are defined inside student class, and display method also is also there inside the same class. So inside the display method, I can use roll number and marks, because roll number and marks are the private variables which can be used only within the same class. Because inside display method means display method is inside the same class. That's why roll number and marks, even though they are private variables, they can be accessed within the same class. And display method is also part of the same class. That's why inside the display method, I can use roll number and marks. So is it correct or wrong? Check. Yes. Because even the roll number and marks are private variables, and these private variables are accessed within the same class, student. So this is correct. Next, I will take one more class. You remember one rule. Private members of a class cannot be accessed outside the class. Means they are not visible outside the class. As per that rule, if you want to access them outside the class, what will happen? I will explain. So I am taking one more class student. Inside that I have taken main method. I have created an object for student class. So with this reference variable, I am trying to access roll number, marks and display method. Is it correct or wrong? Both statements are wrong. Why? Because we know one rule. Private members of a class can be accessed only within the same class. Outside the class, they cannot be accessed or cannot be or not visible. Means roll number, marks, and display method are declared as private in student class. Only they are visible inside the student class only. But here we are trying to access the private members of student class in another class, that is outside the student's class, that is test class. So that's why these two statements are wrong. That's why you will get compiler error. Because S1 dot roll number, S1 dot marks wrong. Because roll number and marks are the private variables of student class. Only within the same class we can access these two variables. Outside the class, these two variables cannot be accessed. That is the reason why we are getting compiler error. In the same way, S1 dot display, this is also compiler error because display method is declared as private method to student class. Only inside that class only we can access. Outside the class we cannot access. That's why if you write S1 dot display, again you will get compiler error. But here we may get one doubt. So in test class, the roll number, marks, and display method of student class cannot be accessed. But here we are creating object for student class. Then in that case, what is the use of creating student class without accessing the members of student class? Okay. So for that, the answer is don't take or don't declare the display method as private. So here strike off this one or remove this private access modifier for display method. So if you remove this private access modifier, what is the access modifier for this display method? That is default. You know default members. Okay, default. So if you remove this private, then what is the access modifier for display method is default. Because if you won't write any access modifier for display method, by default it is default. You know the scope of default access modifier, no? Default access modifier means default members of a class can be accessed within the same class and also within the same package. This is only one package, no? Okay, this is only one package, only one program. Okay, that's why if you remove this private, okay, then the display method is by default it is having default access modifier. That's why default access modifiers can be used. Default members of a class can be used within the same package. Means outside the class also they can be used. That's why here I can use S1 dot display. Okay, S1 dot display means what will happen? Because display method is having the default access modifier in student class. So outside the class, default members of a class can be accessed. That's why if you write it now S1 dot display, it is perfectly correct. Then what it will happen? What will happen is here S1 dot display means it will go to the display method and these two will be displayed. Means roll number is 1 and marks 59. So in that case the output will be roll number is 1, marks is 59. If you declare display method as default, means if you remove private, we can access display method outside the student class, that is inside the test class. So in that case the output is roll number 1, roll number is 1 and marks are 59. Here one more important point is always keep the data as private. Keep the data means data is nothing but variables. So always when you go to industries, always they will take for the data private only. Okay, means always keep the variables as private variables, means keep the data as private, and methods we can take either default or protected or public, but always the data should be private. So when the data is private means inside the same class we can use, no? So inside the same class any method can be accessed, any method can access this private data. That's why inside display method I am accessing roll number and marks even though the data is private. Okay, through the methods we can access the private data of a class. Why? Because here I am writing S1 dot display, no? So when you call S1 dot display or when you invoke S1 dot display, so the display method of this student class executed, no? So through the display method of student class, I am accessing the private data of that class. That's why the thumb rule is always keep the data as private, and methods can be default or protected or public. So through the methods of this class, I can access the private data of that class. Okay, so this is about private access modifier. Okay. Next, see here I have written if s1.display, if you declare display method as private, we can't access now. That's why here to use this we have to declare the method. We should not declare the method as private. Okay, in student class. That's why declare the method display method in student class as default. Okay, then we can access. So through the methods we can access the private data of that class. That is the first program on private. So private members of a class can be accessed within the same class. Outside the class, they are not visible. Okay, that's why always keep the data as private and the methods as default or protected or public. So the first program is completed, that is on private access modifier. Next, coming to the second program. What is second program? So in the second program, we have to explain default access modifier. Now, what is the rule for default access modifier, or what is the scope of the default access modifier? Understand this rule, then you can write the programs on your own. What is the rule? So default members of a class, understand, members means variables and methods. So default members of a class can be accessed by subclasses and non-subclasses of the same package. Here, when you want to explain default access modifier, you have to take one package. Okay, to explain the concept of private access modifier, no need to take any package. Here I have not taken any package now. Only I have written a normal Java program with two classes. Okay, with these two classes, I am explaining the concept of private access modifier. Why? Because private access modifier means already explained in the table. Only with respect to class only we are talking. See, so private access modifier, the scope of the private access modifier is only within the same class. That's why class is enough to explain the private access modifier. So with respect to two classes, I have explained private access modifier. I have taken private members in one class, and I am trying to access the private members of one class in another class. So it is not possible, no? So like that, to explain private access modifier, only with respect to classes we can explain. So take two classes, and in one class declare the private members, that is private variables and methods, and take one more class. Inside that class, you try to access the private members of the previous class. Okay, it is not possible, no? Okay, so classes are enough, two classes are enough to explain the private access modifier. But if you take default, so here default members of a class can be accessed within the same class and also by subclasses or non-subclasses of the same package. That's why here we have to take package. Here we should take one package. To explain private access modifier, no need to take package concept. Only with respect to classes we can explain. But here to explain default access modifier, I have to explain all these three, no? That's why I need to take one package, or I need to create one package. So with respect to that package, I will explain the default access modifier. Now already you know how to write the packages, no? In the last class I explained, in the last two classes I explained how to write packages. Again I am repeating, to explain the default access modifier, we need to take one package. So after that, what is the rule for a default access modifier? So default members of a class can be accessed by subclasses or non-subclasses of the same package. So to explain default access modifier, we need to take one package. Okay, now this program also easy only. So one package I need to create. No, package is a collection of classes and interfaces. So how do we create a package? With this syntax. That is package is a keyword, pack1 is the name of the package, ends with the semicolon. So here I am creating one package. So after this package statement, whatever classes interfaces if you write, those classes and interfaces belongs to or belong to this package. That is the concept of package. Package is a collection of classes and interfaces, or package is a collection of related classes and interfaces. Usually we will put related classes and interfaces under one package. So here if you write package pack1 means we are creating a package. So under this package we can put any number of classes and interfaces. Now how do I explain default access modifier with respect to this packages? Here what I will take is I will take one class. This class is same class I am using. So inside the class here I am taking what is the scope, what is the access modifier for these two variables? Is it default? Yes. If you won't write any access modifier explicitly, then by default access modifier is available for these two variables. Next, what about this method display? Again default access modifier, because here I have not written any access modifier explicitly. So I am taking the same class. Observe, in the previous program also I have taken the same class, but I am changing the access modifier for two variables, roll number and marks, and the display. If you see this one, same class I am taking, but there I have taken A. So here only I am changing the access modifiers for these two variables and this method. That's it. Here I am explaining the first program is I am explaining with the private access modifier. No, that's why for these two variables and this method I have used private access modifier. Same class I am taking in all the programs, but only thing is I am changing the access modifiers and I am trying to explain the scope of that access modifier in each program. Now we are writing a program on using default access modifier. No? See, in place of class student and roll number and marks, here I am taking class name is A and I am taking the variables names as AB. Otherwise both are same. Okay. Now here we have two variables A and B and both are declared with default access modifier. And display method, for display method also default access modifier. Okay. Now because I am explaining the concept or program on default access modifier, that's why take one simple class A. In that take two variables and one method, and all these three means two variables and this method are declared with default access modifier. Now I will explain the scope of these two variables which are declared with the default access modifier and this display method which is declared with the default access modifier. So this class I am using. Okay. Now I will explain the scope of these two variables A and B and the method display. Now what I am taking is I am taking package concept. No. So inside the same package, default access modifiers can be accessed by subclasses and non-subclasses of the same package. That's why for this class, I will create one subclass and I will write one non-subclass. Understand carefully. First class is I have taken one class A. Inside that class, I have taken two variables and one method, and all the three are declared with default access modifier. Now I want to explain the scope of these two variables and one method which are declared with default access modifier. So to explain this one, as per the rule of default access modifier, default members of a class can be accessed by subclasses and non-subclasses of the same package. For that reason, what I am doing is here for this, because inside this class here I have written two variables and one method, no, which are declared with default access modifier. No, so with respect to this class, I will take one subclass and I will take one non-subclass with respect to the class A. So already you know all these. So how do we take a subclass for class A? You know, no, class B extends A, means B is a subclass of A. So inside that, how do I access the members of this class? So default members of a class A, default members of the class A can be accessed by both subclasses and non-subclasses of that class within the same package. Here we have taken only one package. No? What is my package? My package name is pack1. So under pack1 I am taking 3 classes A, B, C, and what is the relation between these 3 classes A, B, C in the same package is, okay, I am taking class A. In that I have used 3 default members. So default members of class A can be accessed by subclasses and non-subclasses of the class A. That is the concept here. Once you understand this concept, now how do I access the default members of class A? How do I access the default members of class A inside the subclass of A? See, directly we can use. So inside the subclass, I have written main method. Inside that main method, I have created an object for class A. With this reference variable, I am accessing the default members of class A. Here you can write A1 dot display also, because display method is also declared as default, no? So this is default members. Default members means default variables, that is A and B. So default members of a class A can be accessed by the subclass of the same package. This is the example for that. And also by the non-subclasses of the same package. Is it non-subclass of A? Yes. So inside the non-subclass also, I can access the default members of the class A. Even though it is a non-subclass of A, but it is within the same package, because class C is also there within the same package. Now that's why the inside the same package, non-subclasses of class A can also access the default members of this class A. For that reason, so here inside class C, I have written main method. Inside that, I have created an object for class A. With that reference variable, I am accessing display and A, B. So this is the simple program now to explain default access modifier. So here, how many packages I have taken? Only one package. See, package pack1. So with one package, we can explain default access modifier. Next, with one class, we can explain the private access modifier. Okay. Scope of private access modifier is within the same class. Scope of the default access modifier is within the same package. That's why I have taken one package. Under this package, I have taken 3 classes, class A, B, C. But inside class A, I have taken 3 default members. And how do I access the default members of this class A inside the same package is by the subclasses, that is B, and by also the non-subclasses of that class. So that's why I have taken one subclass for class A, that is B. Inside that subclass, I am accessing the default members of the class A by creating first object for that class. After that, I am accessing the default members of that class. Here write A1 dot display also. She forgot to write. So here we can add A1 dot display. In the same way, by the non-subclasses of A also, default members of the class A can be accessed within the same package. Okay, so with this default access modifier completed. Next, what is the third access modifier? Third access modifier is protected. What is the rule for protected access modifier? So protected members of a class can be accessed by subclasses and non-subclasses of the same package. Means the same program, same as the previous program up to this, and also this is the extra point. See, up to this same as the previous program, you can write the same previous program up to this. So protected members of a class can be accessed by subclasses and non-subclasses of the same package. Up to this same as the previous program. Already I explained in depth. Okay. And now up to this you can understand. Next, after that, what is the extra point we have to add in case of protected access modifier? and also by the subclasses of other package. Now please focus on this for protected access modifier. What is the extra point here is, and also by the subclasses of other package. Means other package means outside the package, no? So same as previous program, no, I explained. Means here how many packages I have taken to explain default access modifier? Only one package is enough, no? So here package pack 1. So take the same package pack 1, okay, and take one more package to explain this concept. So up to this one package is enough, no? See, default members of not default protected members of a class can be accessed by subclasses and non-subclasses of the same package. Up to this same as default access modifier program. Means up to this only one package is enough. But here we are adding one more point to protected access modifier, that is, and also by the subclasses of other package. Concentrate on this. Subclasses of the other package means you need to take one more package, no? Means two packages are required, no? Same package means one package, other package means one more package. That's why to explain protected access modifier and public access modifier, you need to take two packages. Already you know how to write a Java program using two packages. Last class we have written now, same concept. See, to explain protected access modifier, we need to take two packages. This is also very, very easy. Already you know how to take two packages. Now package pack 1. This is first package. Name of the first package is pack 1. So in that I have written the same code. See. So class A, okay, inside class A, for the two variables A and B, I am using the access modifier as protected, and for the method also I am using the access modifier as protected. So these are the members of this class A and B, and also display. These are the three members for this class. So, and these three members are protected members. So protected members of a class A can be accessed within the same package by both the subclasses and non-subclasses, and also by the subclasses of the other package. That is the important point to remember. By the subclasses of the other package. So here inside class A, I have taken three protected members. They are A, B, and display. So how do I access these three protected members of this class A? And what is the scope of these three protected members of this class A? So how do we explain? We have to take two packages. Inside one package, take subclass and non-subclass. So this is my main class, no? I want to explain with respect to this class A. That's why I am taking, like in the previous program, I am taking one subclass, that is class B extends A. So inside class B, I can access the protected members of that class. Means by the subclasses of the same package and also by the non-subclasses of the same package. So inside the subclasses of the same package, that is inside the subclass, or inside this is B is the subclass of A, no? So inside the subclass of A, I am using the protected members, that is small a, B, and display. These three are the protected members of class A. So I am accessing the protected members of class A inside the subclass of the same package. We are in the first package only. How do I access the protected members? By using or by creating an object for class A. In the same way, they can be accessed by non-subclasses of the same package. This is C is the non-subclass of A. That's why inside C also I am using the protected members of class A. Okay. So here up to this same as previous program. So up to this with respect to one package I have explained. So protected members of a class can be accessed within the same package by both subclasses and non-subclasses of that class. Okay. So up to this same package. Next, again I am repeating the same statement. Default members of a class can be accessed, okay, by the subclasses and non-subclasses of the same package, and also outside the package only by the subclasses of the other package. Other package is nothing but outside the package. So these members are declared inside class A and inside the package 1. So with respect to this package, we have to talk about other package. Means take one more package. This is pack 1. Take one more package. Inside that package, how do we access the protected members of this class A? That is the next point. And now for that, I am taking one more package. Inside that package, how do I access the protected members of a class of the package pack 1? Now here this is another package I am taking. So how do we create another package pack 2? So here I am using import statement to access the class A, because my focus is on class A. No, see, my concentration is on class A only. Why? Because inside class A I have declared 3 protected members, and now I am explaining the programs. How do we access the protected members of this class A within the same package and outside the package? So within the same package, how do we access the protected members of this class A is by both subclasses and non-subclasses of this class, and also in another package by the subclasses of A only. See, concentrate only on class A. Okay, with respect to this class A only I am talking about, because inside the class A only I have taken 3 protected members. That's why within the same package by the subclasses and non-subclasses of class A, okay, these 3 protected members can be accessed, and also outside the package, means in another package we can access these protected members of this class by the subclasses of this class only. That's why take one more package and import this class. After importing this class into another package, create one subclass to that class. So inside that subclass, we can access the protected members of this class. That's it. See, easy only. Now take one more package. So I am taking one more package pack 2. So in that import pack1.a. Means from the first package I am accessing only class A, because my focus is only on class A. No? That's why in this package, in pack 1 we have 3 classes A, B, C, but I am importing only one class A. But when you want to import a class from this package, that class must be declared as public. Already explained, only public classes of one package can be imported to another package. That's why if you want to import this class in another package, then this class must be declared as public, otherwise you will get error. That's why first to declare this class as public. After that we can import class A of pack 1 in pack 2. So here if you see, this is second package pack 2. I am importing class A from pack 1. That is import pack1.a. Means the public class A of pack 1 is imported to this class. Means in this class, see here I have written. So class A is available inside pack 2. Okay. Next, after that, in addition to class A, what I have written is, now I want to explain the concept and also by subclasses of the subclasses. Okay, in another package, no. So pack 2 is another package, no. And A class A is defined in pack 1. That's why this is another package or other package. Okay. Now what I am taking is class A is imported. After that I am taking one subclass to class A. So how do I write? Class D extends A. Now inside class D, we can access the protected members of class A. That's it. See here, how do we access the protected members of class A outside the package is using this. This is outside the package. Pack 1 is my actual package. Inside pack 1 I have taken class A. Inside class A I have taken protected members. So how do we access the protected members of that class which is there in one package. Outside the package is, this is the code. So first import that class A. After importing that class means class A is, assume class A is available in this package. When class A is available here, then I can take subclass to class A. No? That is, this is inheritance. Class D extends A. So inside class D, I can use protected members of class A. That's why I have created object for class A. With that reference variable, I am accessing the protected members A, B and the display method of class A. So here what is the rule is, what is the rule for protected members of a class? So protected members of a class can be accessed within the same class, within the same package by both subclasses and non-subclasses, and also by the subclasses of other package. This is the subclass of other package, that is pack2. But who cannot access? By the non-subclasses of or by the non-subclasses of that class in another package. If you take one more class which is not the subclass of class A, let us take class E, only class E take. Class E means it is a non-subclass of A. So inside class E, if you write this code, you will get error. Means who cannot access the protected members outside the package is non-subclasses of class A cannot access the protected members of class A in another package, that is in pack2. In pack2, if you take one non-subclass to A, inside that non-subclass, we can't access the protected members of that class A. Okay, that's the, so this is the program on protected access modifier. But when you write two packages, last class I explained, take separate files for each of these two packages. So put pack1 in one file and save that file as a.java, because A is declared as public. No? If public class is there in one package, you must save that file with that public class name only. That's why. So put this pack1 in one file and save the file as a.java. And you also know how do we compile and execute. Next, for package 2 means take one more file, because inside one program you can't put more than one package statement. There should be at most one package statement in any program. That's why you save this in separate file. And here we have taken only one class, no D. That's why save this file as d.java. So this is the program on protected. If you understand private, default and protected, public is 1 minute. So public members of a class can be used by both subclasses and non-subclasses of the same package, and also by subclasses and non-subclasses of another package. See, inside the same package, anybody can use. Inside the another package also, anybody can use. Anybody means subclasses and non-subclasses. So that's it, like public roads. Now we can write this program easily. So package pack1. So here also how many packages we need to take? 2 packages. Same package, another package. Means we have to take 2 packages like the previous program. Only thing is we have to add one more class in the another package. That is non-subclass of A. That's it. Now package pack1. So here my concentration is on class A, and I am declaring this class A as public because I want to import this class A of pack1 in another package pack2. Okay. Now here I have same. I am declaring the members A, B and display as public, because I am taking the same class, but I am changing only the access modifier. By changing the access modifier for A, B and display, we can write 4 programs. First take the same class and take the access modifier for A, B and display as private. That is first program. Next here take default, that is second program. Next take here protected, that is third program. And take here public, that is fourth program. Like that we can write 4 programs by taking the same class, by changing the access modifiers for the variables A and B and the display method. Okay. Now with respect to this class, public members of a class A can be accessed by subclasses and non-subclasses of this class A within the same package, and also by subclasses and non-subclasses of A in another package. Okay, that's it. Now I will take, this is one package, no? This is pack 1. Inside pack 1, I will take one subclass to class A. This is subclass of A. So inside this subclass of A, within the same package, see, the public members of class A are accessed. Okay, I am creating one object for class A. After that, I am accessing the public members of class A using these two statements. This class is nothing but subclass of A within the same package. In the same way, I will take one non-subclass of A within the same package, and I am accessing the public members of the class A. So this is up to this one package. If you take package pack 1, here I have 3 classes. Class A, where we have declared the public members, that is A, B and display. So after that, I am taking one subclass within the same package, that is B, and I am taking one non-subclass C, which is within the same package. So up to this, we have one package pack 1. Next, how do we save this file? So here inside one package, we can write any number of default classes. But if you want to write public classes, there must be only one public class. And also if you take one public class in one package, and the file must be saved with that public class name only. That's why write this package in one file and save the file with a.java, because here A is a public class. Okay, save this file with a.java. And next I will take one more package pack 2. I will write this in separate file. And here how to save this file? Here how many classes are there? D and E. Here these two are default classes, no? So you can save this file either with d.java or with e.java, no problem. But if public class is there in a package, the file name must be same as the public class name. You should remember that rule. Okay, otherwise you will get error. Now I am taking one more package and I am writing in separate file. Here I have 2 classes D and E. I will save this file either with d.java or e.java, because there is no public class in package 2. Next, after that, I have to import the class A, no? Because inside class A, I have taken 3 public members, no? How do I access the public members of class A in one package? Okay, outside that package is this concept. So how do I access the public members of class A in another package? Is because it is public, no? Means in another package also by both subclasses and non-subclasses of that class, that is class A, can be accessed. So subclass means D. D is a subclass of A. Why we should take A here is inside class A I have written public members A, B and display. Now I am trying to access public members of the class A outside the package. So outside the package means that's why I am importing only class A. So when you import like this, what will happen is class A is part of this pack 2. So inside pack 2, we can assume there are 3 classes. What are the 3 classes? Class A, which is imported from pack 1, and class D and class E. So with respect to these 3 classes, I am writing one subclass to A and one non-subclass to A. So class D extends A, means this is the subclass of A in another package, because class A is there in which package? Pack 1. So inside class D, I am accessing the public members of class A, that is A, B and display. Is it subclass of A in another package? Yes, because actually A is defined in pack 1. But here we are accessing the public members of class A outside the package 1, that is pack 2. Okay, this is separate package. So inside this, by subclasses of A, we can access the members of A, and also by non-subclass of A. Is it non-subclass of A? Yes, because we have not used extends here, no? So by the subclasses of A and non-subclasses of A, also the public members of the class A can be accessed, right? So here what are D and E? D is the subclass of A in another package. And what is E? E is a non-subclass of A in another package. So inside subclass of A and non-subclass of A of another package, we are accessing the public members of class A, because A, B and display are declared as public in class A. So this is about public. For public, there are no restrictions. Inside the same package, both subclasses and non-subclasses can use, and outside the package also, both subclasses and non-subclasses can use the public members of a class. That's it. So this is the last program. Next, already you know access modifiers for classes means default and public. What is the difference? Default classes can be used only within the same package. Outside the package, they cannot be used. That's why whenever you want to write like this, import pack1.a means this A should be public, or A should be declared with public access modifier inside pack1. Otherwise, it is error. Suppose if you won't write class A as public, if you remove this one public, if you remove public means it is default, no? So default classes of one package cannot be imported to another package. If you want to import any class from one package to another package, that class must be declared as public. That's why I have kept as public for class A. If you remove for class A public, if you write like this import pack1.a, you will get compiler error. That's why when you want to import classes of one package into another package, then those classes must be declared as public in that package. Otherwise, default classes cannot be imported. For classes, we can take only two access modifiers, they are default and public. Default classes cannot be used outside the package, they can be used only within the same package. In the same way, public classes can be used within the same package and also outside the package. Means we can't import default packages. If you write like this, package pack1, under package pack1, we have the class A, public class B, and class C extends A. Next, take one more package, pack2. Suppose here in pack1, what we have written, A is default class, and B is public class, and C is also default class. Because if you won't write any access modifiers, that is default access modifier. Okay. So here, if you take the package pack1, inside the package pack1, we have three classes A, B, and C. For A and C, default access modifier is there, and for B, public access modifier is there. And the rule is that default access, suppose default class, let us take default classes. Default classes of one package cannot be imported to another package, whereas public classes of one package can be imported to another package. So if you see this one, if you take another package pack2, inside this package, which classes of pack1 are imported and which classes of pack1 are not imported. Okay, for that I am writing import pack1.a. What is A? First the compiler will check A, whether A is public or not. A is public? No. A is not declared with public, no. That's why the compiler will check. First it will go, when this statement is getting compiled by the compiler, what the compiler will do is, compiler will go to pack1, okay, and check whether the class A is declared with public or not. But inside pack1, A is declared with default. That's why default classes of one package cannot be imported in another package. These two are different packages, remember. Pack1 is one package, pack2 is another package. That's why here if you write, compiler will give you error, compiler error. Next, import pack1.b. Again, compiler will go to the pack1 package and it will check whether B is declared as public or not. Yes, B is declared as public. That's why public classes of one package can be imported to another package. So it is correct. Next, if you write similarly one more statement, import pack1.c. What is C? C is not declared with public, no? So you will get error. Like that, the compiler will check whether the class is declared as public or not when this statement is getting compiled by the compiler. Okay. Next, here for multiple subclass, public classes, only public classes of one package are imported to another package. No. Suppose if you have multiple public classes, then we can write like this, separated by commas instead of star. Because if you write star, all the some classes may be public or may not be public, no. If they are not public, you will get error, no? That's why only public classes of one package can be imported to another package. So when you write import pack1 dot a comma b comma c means these a, b and c, these three classes must be public classes in package pack1, otherwise error. But already I explained one concept. In one package or in one file, in one package we can write only one public class, and the name of the class must be name of that public class, or name of the file must be name of the public class, no? But already I explained in the first class. Okay, so how do we put more than one public class is take suppose if you want to put three public classes A, B, C in pack1, so take three separate files. Take package pack1 semicolon, inside the take public class A, and take one more file and take package pack1 and write public class B, and take third file package pack1 public class C. Means here we are taking package pack1, package pack1, package pack1. So with the same package name I am creating three files, because in one file or in one program, okay, in one package we can't write more than one public class. We can have any number of default classes, but there should be only one public class. That's why whenever you want to write more than one public class in one package, try to compulsory you must take one file for each public class of the same package, and save all the and write package pack1, again package pack1, package pack1, and you must save the files with the public class names only. Okay, so with this access modifiers completed. Okay, so with this packages and access modifiers completed, next class I will explain exception handling. So exception handling is very important. Don't miss the classes. So exception handling is exception handling, multi-threading, and packages. All these are very important concepts in Java. So don't miss the classes.